Live from New Bedford, ladies and gentlemen, this is the YouTube channel blog show of authenticity, inspiration, and realness, also of good times, personality, and fun. This is Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, and now, here's your host of the show. He is Big Beefy E. He is Mr. Shenanigans and the elder statesman of the Rant and Rave podcast, Mr. Eric M. Lima.
Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. This is episode 1660 of the show. And ladies and gentlemen, for the very first time in the show's history, we're going to have a Shenanigan triple feature. That's right. That means three top, as you know, I always do playlists for different segments, like on Raw Event Center, SmackDown Event Center, NXT, TNA, AEW, all different shows. This is a three-in-one deal, and that's why I'm calling it the Shenanigan triple feature. And I'll be talking about what happened on the final SmackDown broadcast of SmackDown on Fox, and I'm going to talk about also the final shows of Rampage and AEW Rampage and Collision before All Out, and I'll give you my All Out picks and predictions as well. So let's get right to it. Let's get to it right away before we end the show for the day. As you know, it is Saturday. It is Friday. Cody Rhodes arrives at the arena and addresses the Edmonton crowd and calls out the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa. So Sikoa comes out, wants a match with him, and then Cody's trying to play the mind games with Solo Sikoa of trying to break up the 2.0 bloodline by challenging Jacob Fatu, and then Jacob Fatu tries to step up, and he says, "I love you, my tribal chief." He steps down, and then Cody Rhodes knew that was not going to work and said, "Okay, fine, we'll have a match next week." But then he said, "We don't have to wait till next week." In the season premiere on the USA Network, Bloodline tries to prepare to fight Rhodes, but Street Profits and DIY got his back. But then Nick Aldis stops the whole thing. He says, "You know what? Tonight there'll be an 8-man tag match, and next week there'll be a title match for the title. Sikoa and Rhodes going at it in a steel cage match." First broadcast in the USA Network for quite a while. So I'm really excited about that. Meanwhile, Pretty Deadly was talking to Tiffany Stratton, and then he said they were talking about Pretty Deadly musical. Nia Jax interrupts him and said, "You know what? I think everybody's trying to say that you're trying to cash in on me." And then he said, and then Tiffany Stratton goes, "You know who's been spreading those rumors? Bayley, and I'm going to make her pay." And so they had a one-on-one matchup, and Bayley and Tiffany Stratton. And during the matchup, though, Nia Jax tries to get involved, but Bayley makes sure she stays out of the way, and she picks up a victory over Tiffany Stratton. Meanwhile, Kevin Owens was looking at the Wayne Gretzky picture and all, and A-Town Down Under disrespects him, and then Kevin Owens goes, "Hey, I got an idea. Let's have a triple threat match to see if you two can get along. I'll talk to Aldis about it." And then Giovanni Vinci making his SmackDown debut against Apollo Crews, but Apollo Crews picked up the victory, picked up a quick victory because Giovanni Vinci was screwing around trying to take off his jacket to get ready. The referee rang the bell. Big mistake by Giovanni Vinci, a rookie mistake. You shouldn't have taken your eye off the ball. I'm surprised. I'll be assured there'll be a rematch next week. And then Chelsea Green and Piper Niven confronted all this, and then Michin interrupted them and taunted them about what Julia did to Chelsea Green. So Nick Aldis goes, "We'll have a one-on-one matchup." And then a triple threat matchup: Kevin Owens versus A-Town Down Under members Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. KO picked up the victory, but then they attacked him after the matchup. And And Legado del Fantasma discusses last week's victory, and then Santos goes, "That's what we are. We're going to continue winning." Meanwhile, Michael Cole and Corey Graves will talk and discussing SmackDown's time on Fox. And you got from the Rock's appearance on SmackDown in the Fox premiere. We got in NXT's Invasion the next month later, and then up till now, the final broadcast on Fox. LA Knight comes out to address the Edmonton crowd about being the United States champ. Carmelo Hayes interrupts Knight, but then that brings out Andrade, interrupting both men. And then all three then had a pushing and shoving contest, and then after Knight both hit Ace and Andrade with the blunt force trauma, he holds up the United States Championship. And then A-Town Down was talking to Alls about what they did to Kevin Owens, and all this seems doesn't seem like to care. So I think he doesn't want to hear anything from A-Town Down Under. Michin went one-on-one with Chelsea Green, and Piper Niven's involvement in the matchup cost Michin the matchup, and Chelsea Green ended up picking up the victory. But will we see Julia in action, or will Chelsea Green challenge her? That'll be interesting to see on NXT. But Byron Saxton interviewed both DIY and the Street Profits. Says, "Hey, I know we respect each other, and I know we want the tag team titles, but we got to take down the Bloodline in order to do that." So then they had the 8-man tag team main event. DIY and the Street Profits versus the Bloodline. Heck of a fight this was. And in the end, the Bloodline ended up winning the matchup. That might be carrying the momentum into next week's season premiere on the USA Network, as Solo Sikoa challenging Cody Rhodes for the undisputed title in a steel cage. I would not be surprised if Roman Reigns makes an appearance to stop Solo Sikoa. On NXT Level Up, women's action, 2 women's matches. Layla Diggs went one-on-one with Izzy Dame, and Izzy Dame, who is Braun Breaker's new girlfriend in real life, by the way, picks up the victory. Meanwhile, Lainey Reed was talking to Danny Palmer. Danny Palmer challenged her to a matchup one-on-one. Lainey Reed says, "Okay, I'll accept." Danny Palmer went one-on-one with Lainey Reed, and with Danny Palmer picking up the victory in that matchup. Sarah Schreiber interviewed Drake Moreau as he goes one-on-one with Dante Chen again in a rematch. Dante Chen had that rematch with Drake Moreau, and Dante Chen did pick up the victory in that rematch. So that's it for the final SmackDown on Fox. Final SmackDown broadcast on Fox. Now we're going to go to the AEW Collision and Rampage. The final Collision and Rampage before All Out. I'm going to try to get my card here so we can up. So I may have to change my pick for the Continental title match. So here we go. So John Moxley and Marina Shafir arrived at the arena, and when one of the security members tried to stop me, he went, "I'm going the other way." So Continental Contenders Challenge match, number 1, the qualifier. Mark Briscoe versus Lance Archer, and despite Lance Archer's efforts to attack Briscoe from behind and try to do all that much damage, Mark Briscoe never gave up. He ended up winning that matchup, giving Briscoe a third of a spot in the all-out fatal four-way Continental Championship matchup. And the Learning Tree has been causing a lot of trouble, and they were addressing the conglomeration, and they took out Tomohiro Ishii. And Chris Jericho still whining about his $7,000 suit ruined by freaking Orange Cassidy. Jericho, grow up. That ain't $7,000, you goof. The Grizzled Young Veterans took on the Iron Savages, and the Grizzled Young Veterans won the matchup. FTR came out to interrupt the victory, and then both teams were fighting it out. Jack Jameson thought, thank you for saving us, and was celebrated, but then they hit him. FTR hits him with the Shatter Machine. Lexi Nair interviews Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy says he's ready to go. And Orange Cassidy went one-on-one with Brian Keith for the second spot, and Orange Cassidy beat Brian Keith, and then Chris Jericho decided to address his win. He said, "Well, until I get my money, I'm taking your bag." You know, I'm not gonna blast Jericho with a pipe, and then all of a sudden I would have shaved his head. I would have shaved Jericho's head and go, "Hi guys, hey Cassidy, I got your bag. I'll give it to you." He's a thief. Chris Jericho's a crab. "Oh, if you don't pay me the $7,000, I'm taking your bag." You don't know what's in that freaking bag. Jericho, you're a stupid idiot. You just made the list. Stupid idiot. And then Lexi interviewed Mercedes Moné and Camille, who are not very happy that Camille's banned from ringside for the TBS title match, as Mercedes Moné defends it against the Samurai Ace, I like to call her. That would be Hikaru Shida. And then the Outrunners, Turbo Floyd, Truth Magnum with Erica Lee in their corner versus Davey Bang and August Matthews, and the Outrunners got their first victory on Rampage. Meanwhile, Renee Paquette had a sit-down interview with Noel Nightingale and Chris Statlander. And Chris Statlander felt like when Will Nightingale won the title, the TBS title, he didn't offer Chris Statlander a matchup. And Will Nightingale thinks that Stokely Hathaway has something to do with this breakup of the friendship. And she is unable to... now, Will Nightingale is the current CMLL Women's Champion, but they don't want her to put the title on the line at All Out because they have a special anniversary event coming up, and they want to defend it then. So that's the request of CMLL. Meanwhile, the third and final match for the Continental Contenders Classic Contenders Challenge match, Konosuke Takeshita, the Alpha, with Don Callis, who joined on commentary, versus the Beast Mortos, and finally, I am going to change my prediction. Alright, there we go. So, Takeshita ended up winning the matchup, so the Continental title matchup in a Fatal 4-Way is complete. Okada will defend against Ring of Honor World Champ Mark Briscoe, former International Champ Orange Cassidy, and Konosuke Takeshita. And so Saraya and the lovely, gorgeous Harley Cameron addresses Jamie Hayter, still harping on Hayter. "Hey, you're the one who cost her the AEW Women's Championship, Saraya. You made the mistake, sister. You made the mistake." So there's that. Then you got, and then Mariah May addresses being the AEW Women's World Champion. Let's see who the next challenger would be. She says she's planning on celebrating her title victory at All Out, and with Toni Storm in Australia doing a promo for AEW being in Australia. So, and Toni Storm's going back to her roots in Gold Coast, Australia, and still looking very gorgeous. The Timeless One is, by the way. So, let's see. More women's action. Hikaru Shida went one-on-one with the virtuosa, Deonna Purrazzo. Shida, Samurai Ace, picks up the victory. Mercedes Moné to show up to confront Shida. Camille attacks her from behind. And then Camille holds Shida while Moné grabs Shida's kendo stick, and Shida ducked out of the way, accidentally hit Camille, and then got out of the ring, and then Moné retreats from the ring, and Shida was holding the stick and possibly the TBS Championship. Will Shida make history in AEW? We'll find out tomorrow night at All Out. Meanwhile, Alicia Atout interviewed FTR, decided to challenge the Grizzled Young Veterans next week to a tag team matchup. Lexi Nair interviewed the Acclaimed, and the Acclaimed is hell-bent on becoming tag champs again. But then MXM Collection interrupts the Acclaimed, and then when they try to touch tips, Billy Gunn says, you're not doing it. Then there could be a rivalry between those two teams. Main event, the 8-man tag match of champions on the Black Belt Combat Club. That would be 2/3 of the trio's champs, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and the AEW World Champion, Bryan Danielson, and Pac, who is the third member of that trio, of the quartet versus the Elite. That will be the Young Bucks, AEW World Tag Team Champions, the TNT Champion Jack Perry, and the Continental Champion Kazuchika Okada. And Danielson and Jack Perry were brawling out of the ring and out of the arena. And but despite that, the Blackpool Combat Club and Pac ended up picking up the victory for their team. You know, Legendary interviewed the Outrunners, but then Moxley and Maria Shafir, who arrived earlier at the arena, attacked them. Now, this is on the Rampage side of things now. And Moxley, sarcastically said, "Congratulations." So we still don't know what the heck he means by just not your company anymore. He wants to talk with Darby Allin still. You know, Moxley, instead of attacking people, just wait patiently. Moxley, between Moxley and Jericho, I don't know, man. I really don't know. Anyways, Queen Aminata went one-on-one with Misa Kate, while Matt Menard joined on commentary, and Aminata did pick up the victory over Misa Kate. Trio matchup: Dusty Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. Dustin Rhodes, one-third of the trio champions with the Von Erichs, teaming up with the high-flying wrestler from Mexico, Hologram, as they went up against Dark Order, Alex Reynolds, Evil Uno, and my favorite member of the Dark Order, John Silver, Johnny Hungy, the Meat Man. Like that guy. Even though they're heels, I still like John Silver because he's a funny dude. But the premier athletes are watching the match with such interest, and Sammy Guevara, Dustin Rhodes, and Hologram pick up the victory over the Dark Order. The Bang Bang Gang was addressed in the Trios division, and they tried to come up with a nickname for Austin Gunn, but then the Cage of Matting interrupts them. Meanwhile, Lexi Nair interviews STP Productions and Top Flight. That will be the Martin brothers. Dante and Darius, no relation to my good buddy, the Rent and Raid colleague, Brandon Martin, but Leo Rush in action and training with the another lovely, gorgeous lady, and I'm starting to like a little bit more, the baddie Layla Gray, the stewardess, and I think they're going to do battle, next week. So, or on 0 Hour, I believe. So, and then the main event, the House of Black versus the MXM Collection. That will be Mason Madden and Mansoor. House of Black's Brody King and Buddy Matthews. And House of Black ended up picking up the victory for their team as they try to go for the Trios Championship again. Alright, so that is it for the final Rampage and Collision before All Out. But let's go for the All Out picks and predictions. The world title on the line. This is from last night's pick. I changed my prediction for the Continental title, and but we'll get to that. World title on the line as Bryan Danielson defends against Jack Perry. I picked Danielson to retain. The Young Bucks put their tag team titles on the line against Blackpool Combat Club's Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. I picked the BCC to finally dethrone the champs. And TBS title line, Mercedes Moné versus the Samurai Ace, Hikaru Shida, with Camille Band from Ringside. I picked Shida to win that matchup to make history. Lights Out Steel Cage matchup, Swerve Strickland versus Adam Page. I picked Strickland over Page. International title on the line, Ospreay versus Pac. I picked Ospreay to retain. And a Chicago Street Fight, Will Nightingale versus Chris Statlander. I have Nightingale picking up the victory. And the Continental title on the line, Kazuchika Okada versus Ring of Honor World Champion Mark Briscoe versus Orange Cassidy versus Konosuke Takeshita. Konosuke Takeshita has not held the title yet in AEW. I am picking him instead. I originally had Okada to retain, but Konosuke Takeshita is due for a title around his waist. Cassidy's a former champion in AEW, the international champion. Mark Briscoe's got the Ring of Honor World title right now. Why not? And Okada's the current AEW Continental Champion. It's Konosuke Takeshita's time. I'm picking Konosuke Takeshita to become the new Continental Champion. And finally, MJF versus Daniel Garcia. I picked Daniel Garcia over that arrogant, Beavis-looking butthead himself, MJF. So that's all the time we have on the show, episode 1660 of Eric Lima Shenanigans in 1977. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you on the next episode where of the show where play some card sharks. All right, so I'll see you guys later. Have a good night, everybody. And until next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home.
That is all for today's episode. This is your announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E, do it for Bob Saget Productions, and in association with a Raven Bofa Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching today's episode. Tune in next time for another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Goodbye for now.